Thanks for joining us this evening. Doppler HD showing some showers, some of which a little bit heavier in the northern part of our viewing area. Just isolated showers, maybe even a thunderstorm, and a little more numerous shower activity by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, according to Future Track HD. Wake up, scattered showers and thunderstorms, maybe a little bit less at noontime, more later in the day. Some isolated downpours, but it won't rain all the time. I'll break the details coming up.
From your local election headquarters, you're watching WTAJ News coverage of the Pennsylvania primary with John Clay and Carolyn Donaldson.
Well, history was made today as a federal judge legalizes same-sex marriage in Pennsylvania. And current Governor Tom Corbett finds out who he will face this coming November.
And the fate of a major high school renovation project in State College has now been decided.
Good evening, I'm John Clay.
And I'm Carolyn Donaldson. Welcome to our special primary election coverage here on WTAJ News at 11. The latest election results, of course, are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
We're going to get to many of those races in a moment, but first, the state's ban on gay marriage was overturned in federal court this afternoon, reversing the ban that was passed by lawmakers in 1996. If today's decision stands, Pennsylvania will become the 19th state to legalize gay marriage.
11 couples, teenage daughters, and a widow were plaintiffs in this historic case, and one of the couples lives right here in our region. WTAJ News reporter Mallory Lane caught up with that couple today in Center County. She's live now from State College. So Mallory, what do they have to say about the outcome of this case?
Well, guys, the couple is calling today a sweet success and a victory they've long been waiting for.
Feels like I don't have to feel sort of like I'm a fraud in my own society anymore.
Greg Rind and his partner Ron Gebhardsbauer are celebrating.
It says that I'm a normal person just like my neighbors here in Pennsylvania, so this is a really big day. It's momentous.
A momentous day they played a big part in as plaintiffs.
We're getting closer and closer to a point where I'm maybe not the second-class citizen anymore. This wonderful Constitution, as amended, includes me, and it has this equal protection clause that it's going to say I get the same due process and equality that other people get.
Greg and Ron have been together for 20 years. They got married in Maryland last November. Greg says part of him wishes they waited to marry here in Pennsylvania like Joseph and Gregory Scalzo did in State College.
It came around to be 2 o'clock around the time for the decision. It was almost like I didn't even want to look because I was anticipating a negative outcome.
Joseph and Gregory were married in State College Mayor Elizabeth Gorham's home last August. Joseph was surprised at today's verdict and still a little nervous about what it means for his marriage. Even though they got married in State College, their license is from Montgomery County, where 174 marriage licenses were issued to same-sex couples last year before a court shut them down. Officials in the county are still trying to lift that order.
Since we went through so much and everything to get married in the first place, I'm like, oh gosh, now we have to do something else, So other than that, yes, it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Well, the governor has 30 days to appeal the judge's decision. So far, he has not indicated whether or not he will do so. We spoke with Center County officials today to see if any same-sex couples have come in for their marriage license. They say so far they have not. Live in State College, Mallory Lane, WTAJ News.
All right. Thank you, Mallory. Now back to election results. Of course, the race for the top job in our state governor. Our WTAJ News reporter Jim Manalinsky has been at Governor Tom Corbett's camp tonight in Pittsburgh. And Jim joins us now live from Pittsburgh with news from now what he thinks is his opponent to face up in the fall.
Interesting, Jim. You also had a possible reaction from the governor on this same-sex ruling as well.
Yeah, John, the governor chose not to make a statement about that federal same-sex ruling today. His campaign did say on social media earlier that they plan to review that decision and could release a statement as soon as tomorrow. But for tonight, Governor Corbett's message was all about what he calls promises kept as he accepted the Republican nomination for governor. Of course, Governor Corbett did run unopposed in this primary. He did briefly mention presumed Democratic candidate Tom Wolf, but really focused on the Democratic candidates as a whole moving forward. Governor Corbett says the party is about raising taxes and increasing government, something he says won't happen on his watch. Now, when it comes to that race and Tom Wolf, Lieutenant Governor Jim Cawley went into a little more depth about the candidate, calling him a wolf in sheep's clothing as a politician, a phrase I'm sure we'll hear a few more times from Corbett's camp as we get closer to November. Reporting live in Pittsburgh, Jim Adelinsky, WTAJ News.
Very interesting out of Pittsburgh. Thank you very much, Jim. And let's take a look at that race again for governor on the Democrat side. Again, Tom Wolf easily taking this race here, 436,000 votes. Rob McCord coming here, showing you a second as well. And take a look as well in the other candidates running here, Katie McGinty and Allison Schwartz, Congresswoman Allison Schwartz, again, all failing to beat Tom Wolf today. And now we'll continue our live coverage with Andy Mihalchek, joining us live from York. He is at Tom Wolf's campaign headquarters with more on what's happening there. Andy?
We are reporting from Santander Field in York, Pennsylvania. This is Tom Wolf's backyard. In fact, he only lives several miles away. At about 9:30 tonight, Tom Wolf came here to the minor league baseball stadium, went on the infield on a podium, and claimed victory. Let me show you some video taken earlier this evening. Tom Wolf said he thanked his supporters. About 500 here came to the stadium. He thanked his supporters, and he said, "We have a lot of work to do. We have to take on Tom Corbett in November and beat him. We have to change the culture in Harrisburg." He basically said that the culture that has to be changed is an all-inclusive one, that all people have to be welcomed into a Pennsylvania society. He said that is not what he has seen in the last several years in Harrisburg. Tom Wolf, again, also drove onto the field here, driving his now famous Jeep that you see in several of his commercials. That Jeep symbolizes in those commercials, and he said tonight basically that although he's a successful, wealthy businessman, he's worked his way up, but he can relate to the common man, the middle class. He said, time to get to work, first thing tomorrow morning. Again, Tom Wolf facing Tom Corbett in November. Reporting in York, Pennsylvania, Andy Mihalchek, WTAJ News.
Thank you, Andy. We continue our election coverage as well with the race under the governor, the lieutenant governor, and this was a quick call tonight. The winner, Senator Mike Stack from Philadelphia, and second, a man from our area, Mark Kritz, former 12th District Congressman, and Harrisburg City Councilman Brad Kaplinski, State Rep Brandon Newman from Washington County, Bradford County Commissioner Mark Smith, and they are all losing out to Senator Stack, who will now face Jim Cawley in the November election.
And we continue coverage from around the state with a look at some of the congressional races. First, taking a look in the 5th Congressional District. This is actually the largest in area and least densely populated. There were two Democrats, attorney Kareth Strano Taylor from Brookville, and there you see leading the race there. Not all the votes counted in that race there, but convincingly leading. She's from Brookville, and she was running against retired Army veteran Thomas Tarantella of Renova, which is in Clinton County. Now, the winner of that Democratic seat will try to take on incumbent Republican Glenn G.T. Thompson of Howard, who is trying to vie for his 4th term there.
In the 12th, the Democrats John Huggia and Aaron McClellan battling it out. You can see here that McClellan really commanding lead here, pretty much ready to call this race as well. The winner is going to face incumbent Republican Congressman Keith Rothfuss in November.
Then in the 9th, we are calling this race on the highly contested 9th Congressional District. Congressman Bill Schuster, again, winning the Republican vote tonight, and now will face Democrat challenger Alana Hartsock. There you see the numbers. He's running for his 7th term there, the Blair County businessman. He had two challengers, that retired Coast Guard Captain Art Helverson, putting on a great race there and a highly contested race through the last couple of months, and Army veteran Travis Schooley. Schuster, again, now facing Democrat Alana Hartsock from Franklin County in the fall. Our WTAJ News reporter Ben Manning joins us now live at what is now a celebration at Bill Schuster's Watch Committee. Ben?
That's right, Carolyn. We're now at the Congressman Bill Schuster Victory Party, and joining me live is the Congressman himself. Sir, first off, I'd like to say congratulations.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And what do you want to say to the people that supported you?
Well, just to thank the voters, Republican voters of the 9th Congressional District, for putting their faith in me again, to be their standard bearer in November, to run for re-election, to go back to Washington to serve them and represent their values and interests.
And this was a relatively close race for you with two challengers?
Well, and we knew from the very beginning this was going to be a tough race because there's tremendous frustration, not only in the 9th District, but across America for what's not happening in Washington. And I get it. I live here. I talk to people all the time, and I feel that frustration, trying to do things in Washington that I think are positive, and we were unable to get it through the United States Senate.
And what do you want to say to those people at home who are frustrated with how things are going?
Well, we're down there working hard. We have a historic election this November to win back the United States Senate. I think you're going to see a lot of things move forward. But I also want to say to Mr. Schooley and Mr. Halverson that I respect them for caring enough about this country, caring enough about the future generations, that they got into the arena. It was a hard-fought fight, but I really have great respect for them getting in the arena.
All right, sir, thank you so much for joining us live. Congressman Bill Schuster, again, congratulations. And for now, reporting live in Altoona at the Victory Party, Ben Manning, WTAJ News.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. Another race we're following right now, Representative Mike Fleck from the 81st, really fighting for his seat out of Huntington right now. So far, 53 of 58 precincts, and the write-in numbers are much higher than Fleck's numbers. So we are still tabulating these, but it could be a major upset if Fleck loses this race. We'll continue to follow that as those write-ins are counted.
Absolutely. Now let's take a look at some of the state races as we move on in local races. First, we'll take a look at that 66th race.
Now, Sam Smith held that position since '87, stepping down. To replace him, a three-way race. Chris Dush, Harry Bodenhorn, and Paul Corbin. As you see there, a very close race. Dush in the lead at the moment. The winner takes on Toby Santic there in the fall.
In the 71st House seat, there were two Republicans, Jim Rigby convincingly winning over Mark Amsdale, and so it appears that Rigby will now be facing incumbent Democrat Brian Barbin of Johnstown in the fall.
Now, in the 72nd, let's start on the Republican side. We've got Philip Rice and R.J. Wilson, both Cambria County residents. A very good lead here for Philip Rice, so we expect that will hold out. The winner will face the winner between Democrats, Mr. Westrick of Cambria County, incumbent Frank Burns, also in Cambria County.
It's an open seat in the 80th district due to the longtime Republican Jerry Stern retiring after serving Blair County for 11 terms. Republican State Committee member and registered nurse Judy Ward, we understand we do not have the results there shown, but right now is staging a hard-fought fight against Hollidaysburg School Board and contractor Aaron Ritchie on the Republican ballot. We do know there's about 70 precincts out of 97 in, and right now Ward is leading that race. Since there's no Democratic candidate in the 80th district, tonight's winner will be heading to Harrisburg. In other news, voter turnout was low across central Pennsylvania today. Here's what we found in Blair, Center, Cambria counties. Blair came in about 20%. Center came in at about 18%, with more voters turning out in the State College area for that referendum, that school referendum. And Cambria County came in approximately 25%. We want to know what you think. Why was that turnout so low? Just head to our Facebook page to let us know.
One place hoping to have that good turnout, and they did, was Center County with that high school referendum up for the vote. State College residents voted for that. 74 of the 90 precincts, the school district referendum has passed. More than 7,000 people voted yes for that. It allows the district to take an $85 million debt to renovate the school. Now that it's passed, the board will further the design process and plan to start construction next year. They expect that'll be complete in 2018. For all your election results and more information on the races, head to wearecentralpa.com. Remember, WTAJ is your election headquarters, and we're going to have the results scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Though first, still to come, the latest on a search for a missing teen after his canoe capsized in a local river.
And one area school district looks to cut a $900,000 deficit. We're going to tell you what that could mean for some local jobs coming up in a live report.